How's it going, guys? So this week on the Phantom Cave YouTube channel, we're going to be talking to Bob Mcleod, the guy that is behind and co-creator of New Mutants, and also has done some of the best, some of the most greatest Phantom stories that has came about. And as always, let's get in. Bob, we're going to be hitting you with our first question this week. And in what opinion, what do you like about the Phantom when you are drawing the characters?
The Phantom himself is difficult to draw because his head's an odd shape, and it needs to be done just right. It's kind of cone-shaped instead of like a regular skull. So I mainly liked drawing the jungle scenes and the opportunities to use some dramatic lighting in the inks. I wasn't usually able to ink my own pencils for Marvel and DC due to the deadlines. So I liked very much when I was able to do both pencils and inks on my Phantom stories.
So in question number 2, we're going to be talking to you, Bob, is what is your history drawing the Phantom, and do you have any good stories that led to you getting this spot that would be drawing the Phantom and drawing stories for, I think, Egmont that you said that you were doing them for?
I copied Cy Berry's Phantom strips in the newspaper when I was a kid and drew a Phantom sample page when I was first trying to break into comics in 1973. Finally, I was hired to do art for 6 issues of the Phantom for the Swedish publisher Egmont from 2003 to 2006, beginning with The Secret of the Crystal Skulls. Then I did the Mysterious Commander storyline, the Doomsday Ship, Diana's Crisis, the Redeemer, and the Plunderers of Kinnock Island.
So in question number 3, so there's going to be a lot of good answers coming out of this interview. I'm really excited about this interview because we don't usually have that many guys that's like fans or artists that have actually done also Marvel, DC, and the Phantom. So question number 3 is, if you had to choose a creator to do a Phantom story with, who would it be and why?
I inked Paul Ryan's pencils on some issues, and he was a great guy to work with. I was very sad to hear of his sudden death at such a young age. I thought we worked well together. He liked my inking, and I liked his pencils. So, I thought we made a good team. I'm sure there would be other artists I would like to work with on the Phantom. Some of the Swedish artists I admire very much. But Paul was the only one that I worked with on the Phantom.
In question number 4, we're going to be talking about is, what is your history in the profession like? Where did you actually get the knowledge, and where did you start off on your career and your profession, and then leading on to getting and co-creating the New Mutants, and then that leading off to getting more Phantom stories and doing stories and art for the Phantom?
I started my career working in the production department of Marvel Comics in 1973. My first published work was a satire of the movie Westworld for Crazy magazine, Marvel's version of Mad magazine. And I continued to pencil and ink for Crazy for several years. I really enjoyed my work on Crazy. But I quickly began getting inking jobs for Marvel and DC, and eventually I started penciling comics for them and other publishers as well later on. I'm best known for co-creating the New Mutants for Marvel, of course, and for inking the issues of Kraven's Last Hunt over Mike Zeck's pencils. I also penciled and inked several issues of Action Comics featuring Superman for DC in the 90s, early 90s, and many other top characters at both companies, such as Batman, Wonder Woman, the New Titans, the Legion of Superheroes early on in my career. I did a lot of Spider-Man fill-ins, pencils and inks. Inked the Incredible Hulk over Dale Keown for a few months. Conan Barbarian Conan the Barbarian over John Buscema's breakdowns for a few issues. John was probably my favorite penciler to ink. I penciled Star Wars for a while with Tom Palmer inking, and a lot of other stuff over my 45-year career.
So we're up to question number 5 with you, Bob. So the question is, if you had to go back drawing the Phantom story, a Phantom story, what would it be like, and what sort of elements would you bring into the story, and how would you convey the message that this is a new Phantom story and that people should read it?
Unfortunately, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, so I basically retired from drawing and inking comics a few years ago. The Phantom was always hard to do because Egmont wanted an average of 7 panels a page, and there was a lot of reference needed for vehicles and weapons, and it's just too hard for me to do that small technical work on these tiny panels. So I don't think I'd want to do any more Phantom stories or any other stories at this point. I'm kind of just doing covers. At this point, I do some variant covers for Marvel once in a while.
So we're halfway through this interview, and now we're getting up to question number 6. If they ever make a new Phantom movie / TV show, who would you like to have casted for the movie or TV show? So a lot of people, when I've asked this question, a lot of people have gone towards like Henry Cavill, or they've originally, when we'll actually, I heard that there was like a 2009 movie, or there was going to be a 2009 Phantom movie, and they were going to cast Liam Hemsworth, which is mind-blowing. So who would you have it cast for a new movie or TV show, and why?
New actors come and go all the time. I'm not sure who I think should play the Phantom if they did another movie or TV show. There's many actors I like. Really liked Chris Hemsworth in the Avengers movies. For maybe an older Phantom, Matthew McConaughey. I'm sure they'd cast somebody good in it, but maybe they'd have to have a prosthetic nose just to get the right look for the Phantom. He's so unique looking. Hollywood doesn't always do that, unfortunately, but it would be great if they could get somebody that really looks like him.
So question number 7 is, do you have any tips or tricks on drawing for any inspired artists? Because I know when I'm drawing, I sometimes, because the last year or so, I've been focusing on how to draw portraits and all that sort of stuff. So do you have any tips or tricks for inspired artists who would like to learn a little bit more about the profession and how to increase their skills?
I have several tips for young aspiring artists. I actually have a booklet that I made on the subject that I sell at Comic Cons and through the mail that you can order from my website. It's just bobmcleod.com. I think it's important to rough in figures as if they're transparent so that you get a real sense of their three-dimensionality. I think beginners can learn a lot by trying to make an exact copy of a page that they like by their favorite professional, whoever that is, and using the same tools that that professional used. I tried that when I was starting out learning how to ink, and just basically study a lot of pages by the artist that you like. It's easier to start out imitating another artist than to try to work in your own style in the beginning. It just kind of gives you a leg up when you're starting out, and then because you are who you are, your own style is going to come through. but a lot of the top artists from earlier generations, I guess today, started out by trying to exactly imitate their heroes, and I was one of them. I started out trying to ink like Neil Adams and draw like John Buscema. So they had a big influence on my style. But basically, there's no tricks to speak of or shortcuts. You just got to do the hard work.
So question 8 is, what is... So question 8, I know a lot of fans, they do enjoy these interviews when I actually interview artists, writers, and sometimes I'm going to be in the future interviewing publishers and like collectors and toy figurine people. But in question 8, do you have any new products, art for news stories, or anything new coming out, and it can be unrelated to the Phantom? So, yeah.
I'm basically retired from comics, even though I've been doing occasional variant covers for Marvel. I'm also doing some variant covers for MB Artists reprint comics, and I'm doing a lot of commissions still, but I don't have any new projects to speak of coming out anymore. I'm semi-retired from drawing comics.
Question number 9 is, what is your opinion on the 1996 Phantom movie, and do you think there will be a new movie or TV show into the future? Now, I know a lot of people, when I've been asking this question to a lot of creators, so I asked this question to Duncan Monroe, I asked this question to Reno Menenguis, and now I'm asking it to Bob Mcleod, because a lot of people, they have different personalities, or they have a different opinion on the movie, either that or they haven't even watched it, I haven't even heard of it. And I'm just wondering, from a fan's perspective, what is your opinion on the 1996 Phantom movie?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen the 1996 Phantom movie. Like to, but just never got around to it. My wife's not into watching that kind of movie, and I don't often watch TV by myself, but maybe I'll catch it when I'm at a convention sometime. I think a new Phantom movie could do well. I think it's got a lot of things about the strip. It's not just the Phantom. Most of the stories I drew often had very little Phantom in them. So they're good dramas, good adventure movies, and maybe they'll make another good one pretty soon.
So thank you, Bob, for joining us in this week's community interview. And if you would like to check out more Bob Mcleod artworks, you can always Google search them, and he's one of the amazing artists that we've actually interviewed on this channel. And if you would like to check out more interviews, I've got a playlist right here for you. So catch us, and let's keep on PhantomCave.